and I would say one thing that I try to stop myself from doing is whenever I go to a live event, I don't want to record the whole live event, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just being in that moment, enjoying it. Of course, you want to get something. Like, I'll do, like, you know, the first minutes while I'm there, and maybe, like, if I know the show is ending, like that. But for the most part, I try to be in the moment and enjoy the actual concert than just having my phone out recording it the whole time.
If we're creating this positive platform, right? Like, we're like, you know, this platform we enjoy building together. We talk to incredible people like week in and week out, and we have conversations that hit home. If we're not paying for it, there's other platforms that are paying for it, and they're pushing their stuff out there. So shouldn't we have like a social responsibility to almost pay for it, to make sure our stuff gets out there too?
For me, like, a habit that I want to, like, get rid of is stop trying to make things so perfect.
Right.
And just be more myself, more authentic, and things like that. Recently, I came across it. And, you know, being from New York City and living here, you don't see, like, living here, I don't see, you know, crackheads or meth heads on the streets and all that. And so, like, there's a page that this guy's just going around, like, just talking to these people and things like that. And then I'm seeing it, and I'm like, wow, like, these people are like young adults, like 18, 21, 23-year-olds, like strung out on meth, on crack, on heroin. And it's like, you know, people in the comments are laughing.
Yeah.
Let's flat out. Big teams, big boys, alright? My highs and lows, inherit growth, Mr. Deeds. Went from juggling 3 jobs to CEO like I'm Steve. Never been a rotten apple, call me John Appleseed. That's how I bleed. God can see, no other man can judge me. Call him Mike, Mr. International, getting cream. Single mother told me worth, and now I'm worth everything. Went from Wall Street to Abu Dhabi, straight rolling in a Maserati with women that feel exotic. My life too pristine.
Man, you didn't have to do them like that, man. You didn't have to do them like that.
It was film day.
Yeah.
We gotta make a statement.
Exactly. We gotta make a statement. Last
What's
flight
going
out,
on, man?
Let's flat out.
Welcome back to another episode of Last Flight Out Podcast. I'm your host, Mike. You can find me at If Mike Was Here. You can also find Jay at
Jay Lubriel 26.
Yes. Get to us on all our social media platforms. Everywhere you watch a podcast or listen to one, we're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube at Last Flight Out Podcast. So let's get into it, man. Today's episode, we're talking about how social media is ruining the minds and just numbing the real human experience.
No, exactly. I think today we're obviously social media and the internet is sort of like influencing culture, but it's also creating a disease in the mind, right? Like, for sure. So the first question I wanted to ask you, have you ever had a moment where you felt that when you were scrolling on social media that it sort of warped your reality a little bit?
Not really warped my reality, but sometimes you do get that dopamine effect where you're watching something and it's funny and you could just keep on, like, you want to laugh again. And you're like, let me see what's next. You know, you searching for that high kind of, you know?
It's like we're replacing sort of like human interaction with likes and the algorithm and the things that show up on your For You page. And I think it's so important to actually say out loud that it's actually created a world where people are becoming recluses from, like, society. Yeah. Right. And like people who just like stay in their mom's basement or whatever it may be, or like avoid human interaction. So although this podcast is like, obviously you're consuming it digitally, which is great. Like, but I think it does need to, if you haven't been outside in a few days watching this podcast, pause it, go out and come back in and watch this again, because there's a world out there and that people should be embracing that world, right? People shouldn't run away from human interaction, conversations, and it's creating a real disease, dude. Like, honestly, like, people don't know how to be around people anymore. Like, it's becoming weird. Like,
and I would say one thing that I try to stop myself from doing is whenever I go to a live event, I don't want to record the whole live event, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just being in that moment, enjoying it. Of course, you want to get something. Like, I'll do, like, you know, the first minutes while I'm there, and maybe, like, if I know the show is ending, like that. But for the most part, I try to be in the moment and enjoy the actual concert than just having my phone out recording it the whole time.
For me, when Bad Bunny was in New York,
Yeah.
I went to the concert.
Yeah.
But before that, I felt like I already saw the consequences. You be seeing some people's stories, you know, where you can't even tell how many dots there are anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, this person saw their entire concert through their phone. And it happened to me on 4th of July, like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the fireworks kind of like through my phone lens. Right? Like I was like, this is kind of weird. Like let me put my phone down and let me actually consume it in person. I'm someone who's not on the internet as much as some other people. Like I consume the internet for news because that's where people drop their news, any updates of pop culture events I wanna be following. But the way the algorithm in the world is turning to, if you're not on the internet, you're missing out on stuff.
Yeah.
Which is how they're getting you to grasp so that you are there, so they make their money off their ads and their marketing and all that. But I think that it's created a dopamine overload, and it's created anxiety, depression, and sort of like attention loss. If you ever notice, like even with some of my own family members, they can't hold a conversation, bro. Yeah. They just automatically will go right back to the.
And people kind of just like regurgitate memes or, you know, sayings on the internet, you know?
Yeah, like where'd you get that piece of information? Twitter told me.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy when it starts getting like that, and like people start having arguments based upon stuff they see on the internet, right? Mm. And especially amongst men, because we are men, right? So I just want to read a couple stats out here, right? So this is just basically on how social media has rewired the brain. So the CDC data shows about 50% of U.S. teens spend 4 or more hours per day on screens. Among them, 27.1% experienced anxiety symptoms and 25.9% had depression symptoms within the past 2 weeks, right? These teens reported significantly higher distress than peers with less screen time. So I just want to stop right there. That's the reason why parents nowadays, because of information like that, limit screen time, right? And one of my friends who was telling me about just observing some parents, right, like with their child, taking that iPad away from that child, she was literally going into a panic attack, taking that screen away. They've become so attached because that generation
That's the new pacifier now, you know? And as a parent, none of us are parents yet, you know, but from what I hear from parents, they're like, nah, like that iPad, they start crying and all that. Here you go.
Yeah,
you put the game on.
Because it gets them, but it also, if you think about it, what are the parents doing? The parents are always on their phone and always on their iPad. Kids are sponges. They're going to do what their parents do. Yeah. So what I've seen the better parents do, or like not the better parents, the parents who kind of want their kids to have less screen time, they won't be on their phone around their kids as much. Yeah. Because they're going to see, oh, mom and papa, or whatever the relationship may be. They're like they're actually reading a book, or even damn near watching television, or listening to the radio, or listening to music, or outside working out, whatever they may be. But if they're always on their phone on the couch doing this, what's going to happen, right? Like, and we're creating such a, look, we can't get rid of the internet. We can't get rid of social media. It's always going to be here. I'm not asking for that. That'd be so damn unrealistic. But I think what we can do is control how we consume it. You can control what you consume. Yeah. Right. Like, and I do think the internet can be used for like sort of like funny things, but it's being used as an escape now for people. People are dating way more on the internet than they ever did. Yep. Right. Whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, dating apps, whatever it may be.
A lot of people feel weird if you try to approach them in person, but it's okay in the DMs, you know.
And like when they're outside now, they're not even asking for your number anymore. They're like, "What's your IG handle?" I'm like, "What? IG handle?" Like, nah, we talk with numbers out here. Like, you know what I mean? But like, that's just to show you the generational changes and how the internet has influenced how people interact with people outside the internet. There's still a social media component, even when you're talking to somebody. Like, yo, give me your social media handle. Yo, there should be two separate worlds, right? Yeah. So, I don't know.
And I've seen that a lot of people are desensitized. You know, even myself now, because it's like you're seeing shootings on it, you're seeing murders. Yeah. On Instagram, you know what I mean?
On Instagram, on IG.
Yeah, exactly.
On like CBS News, breaking news.
Yeah, so I think it's like you can't tell the difference between like, you know, if it's treated like a movie almost. It's like, oh, okay, someone got killed, someone got shot. Okay, next.
That's what it does, right? Yeah. Another stat, right? Just going based on the desensitization, right? So according to the Surgeon General, up to 95% of teens use social media, and over 1/3 of it are almost on it constantly. So it speaks to what you just said about desensitization. You are on something constantly, it's going to desensitize you from the actual real thing. Whether it's seeing a gruesome murder or some sort of crime happen on the internet, you're like, oh, that's cool. It didn't happen to me. Cool. So whether it's tragedy, joy, memes, trauma, right? Like side by side, you're just becoming desensitized to it because of the screen time.
Yeah.
And what concerns me about that is even in my own life, certain emotions have become desensitized, right? Empathy, or because you're almost so robotic, right? And it's kind of affecting my relationship with people, and I've had to catch myself with that.
Yeah.
And I'm not even addicted to the internet. Like, I don't call myself as somebody who's a doom scroller. I do it every once in a while. It happens. You're waiting at an airport. You're waiting for a document to come back in an office. But even with me, when I experience what's on the internet in real life, it's just sort of like just another day occurrence for me. And that's not good. It's supposed to be something that I'm supposed to cherish and feel more intensely than I do on the internet.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of something I've been aware about.
Yeah. And speaking of that, in your stats, does this talk about like porn, how that has risen in social media lately?
I mean, in terms of like stats,
Because I'm out here, so I don't even get that.
No, in the UAE, in the UAE, but no, there's none of that here. But if you think about it, porn is a byproduct of the scroll, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna happen, right? Like, it's being algorithmically pushed to teenagers,
I know
right?
on X is crazy now. You could post whatever.
Bro,
on
you can
X.
post whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because it's creating its own dopamine loops, right? Like desensitizing us for real intimacy. And I couldn't find one sort of reliable stat, but the one thing I did find is that consumption of pornography now versus when we were teenagers dramatically shot up.
Yeah.
Right. And it's sort of it's dramatically shot up with men in particular, right? With guys. And it's also led to the rise of Red Pill podcasts, right? And all these other sort of podcasts and platforms that we don't promote here, but they're out there that people listen to who don't go outside, who don't have any real intimacy with the opposite gender or the same gender, whatever you're into, it doesn't matter. And it's sort of like giving them sort of like a space where they can all congregate and be like, yeah, like we're not the problem. They're the problem, right? They're the ones who are isolating us, right? And what they don't realize is that loneliness is not something they've warped people's minds in terms of like loneliness was created by somebody else. Meanwhile, your actions and your attitude and your consumption of the internet has caused your own loneliness, and they don't want to take accountability for that. And therefore, there's these what I believe to be some of these platforms or some, whatever that promote this and saying like, yo, come here and you could become a better person and blah, 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 taking advantage of somebody else's loneliness. I don't agree with that. I agree that everybody should have their own platform to say whatever they need to say, so long as it's legal, constitutional, whatever. I believe in free speech, but I don't believe in the manipulation of the mind. And it's what there's some weak-minded people out here, bro, that can get manipulated. That's just, it is what it is. I'm not breaking any news here by saying that, but what I am saying is that be careful what you consume, because it can have a real influence on you as a person. We talked about, like in several episodes ago, like the person that you choose to be next to has a large influence on you. What you scroll and what you read and what you consume also has an influence on the mind.
Yeah.
All right. So just going back to our original point, you consume a lot of pornography from what I see, it's going to desensitize you from the real thing. When you're right, you're not going to need that sort of intimacy from somebody else, right? Like you're and a lot of people are doing it now to cope with boredom, to cope with anxiety, to cope with depression, instead of like going out there seeking the therapy or seeking relationships that are healthy for you, not just even sexually, just in terms of just good for you as a person. And it's really been pushed. You have things like X, like you said, you can find pornography on it, OnlyFans, whatever it may be, like all these sites, right? And again, they're out there. I'm not breaking any news. It's not like I'm saying anything crazy, but it's being pushed to people.
Yeah.
Right? So
it is. And just even as far as like our social interaction now, a lot of people would rather get compliments online or those likes than in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what they thrive on, and that's, I think as a whole, and I think everybody's kind of victim to it as well, because you post something and I see myself sometimes looking like, damn, nobody like this, like should I take it down, like I ain't get no comments on this. Do
you feel like as someone who's consumed, you're on the internet, not in a bad way, you see it happen a little bit more than I do, but do you feel that people are doing it for the gram? Like they just do it exclusively for, I've seen people post stuff up, like I'll be the first one to see it, and then it immediately goes down. They don't get that initial pop, which to
Yeah.
me is wild. It's whack, bro. That's why Instagram brought the hide
What do you mean?
feature.
What do you mean highlight? The highlights?
The hide your likes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, because they don't want people to do that, right?
Yeah, because they
Because-
want people to feel like, damn, I only got 10 likes on this, which is true.
Yeah, but if you really got, they're also trying to expose people with bot followers, right? Let's just be honest, because if you have a real following, then you're gonna get a whole bunch of likes on your stuff. But if you got 1 million followers, you get. I don't care what.
Honestly, I don't even know what's a good amount of likes
Like,
now because everybody hides it.
Yeah.
Only if I see like 1 million something. So I'm like, damn, is 100 good anymore? Or 200?
100 ain't good no more. And also, if you don't pay to play, as we've seen,
Yeah.
your
They'll
stuff
limit your
gets
visibility.
suppressed.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how good the content is. It doesn't matter how good anything is. It's for all these platforms are forcing you to pay to play to get outreach.
Yeah.
I'm only saying I'm not trying to call it. I'm just saying I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. So like, and that's unfair because me and Mike work really hard on this stuff, and we want to. If we ever get a blue check, I want it to be legitimate blue check, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that. Look, like I'm not saying paying for it is a bad
But
thing.
now it's legitimate. Everybody pay. Even on
Everybody
even
pays
on
for
X.
it.
That's why I'm not on X no more. I got hacked twice.
Why you
And-
get hacked? Why
I
you
don't
get
know.
hacked?
I don't know.
What websites were you on, Mike?
None. I got hacked twice, and literally the support is like, "Oh, you don't pay for it, then we can't help you recover your account again."
Oh, so but if you paid for it, they have like a separate hotline.
Yeah,
so you're
yeah.
the chat, but you
so
didn't
and
chat
only
GPT
I think
bot.
only if you pay for it, you get the 2-factor authentication thing and all that. So
I'm
I
like,
believe so.
I'm just on Twitter for fantasy football news. I don't.
But
go
you,
on
do you
Twitter.
pay for it or no?
Hell no, I don't pay for
Like,
any.
you got the 2-factor?
No, I don't. I don't pay for no
Somebody's
subscription.
out for me. I got hacked twice.
Somebody
Like,
does
it's
not
crazy.
like you, Mike. We've known
It's
that
crazy.
there's some ops out there.
Yeah,
Mike got some
so-
ops out there.
Yeah, man.
And do you feel like, man? Let's stop on that right now. So, if we're creating this positive platform, right? Like we're like, this platform we enjoy building together. We talk to incredible people like week in and week out, and we have conversations that hit home. If we're not paying for it, there's other platforms that are paying for it, and they're pushing their stuff out there. So shouldn't we have like a social responsibility to almost pay for it to make sure our stuff gets out there too? Like I'm not trying to make the argument to pay for it, but I'm just saying like, it's almost like we're fighting with one hand behind our back. Like if you think about it, like I want to do it organically too. I'm not saying this is what we're gonna do, but I'm trying to play out. Really trying to play out the conversation here.
Yeah.
Right, because it feels like if you don't pay to play on a bunch of which platforms are legit like non-pay to play. It seems like TikTok now with the TikTok shop, it's about to turn to M3 in the States. Like it's about to disappear.
Yeah. Oh, really?
In the States, yeah. So you're not part of that problem because you here. I guess our
They
podcast.
still with the same argument?
No, it's gonna happen like it's like September 13th.
Oh, no more TikTok.
No more. It's gonna stop getting updated in the States. So
Oh,
then
okay,
they're
okay.
moving to a new platform called M3, which is like this new
Who
US
owns it?
version. It's gonna be like the U.S. government or something like that. They want the data,
We
bro.
don't know what's gonna happen. Then bring TikTok back, and then they bring it
Yo,
back.
you never know, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be out there, man. TikTok, I like TikTok more as a platform now. Like it's really cool. Like it's a really good platform because you don't have to curate it.
Yeah, it's honestly the more raw you are on TikTok, that's
The more
That's what they
you
push.
are as your person,
Yeah.
those are the person you push. Like it's like almost a TikTok would be like, you're curating it. But the ones that pop for me, like a mini pop, have been the ones where I'm just like talking like not that I don't talk to myself like myself, but the one I'm just like spitballing. I'm just like, the other ones where I put like a couple hours of writing this message out, curate it, making it like a 1 minute long, those don't pop. I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think in general though, people like more, just people are craving that authentic self and all that, especially now in a time where there's AI. What is it? There's AI profiles now and personalities
that you can talk to people.
Yeah.
And there's AI modeling agencies now. You heard about that?
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's wild, man.
So I think being your true self and not being perfect, I think that's coming around, and that's the thing now.
Speaking about being perfect, I want to talk about quickly, maybe for the next 10 minutes, just dating app culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone on these dating apps tries to put forward like their perfect self on it, right? And do you feel like dating apps, from whether it's your experience or experiences that you've heard of, have led to this sort of like fake, I have endless options sort of illusion? Because in real life, it doesn't matter how good looking you are, or how wealthy you are. You don't have limitless options. Like you have a finite amount of options of people who would actually want to deal with you. And I just feel like the scrolling left and the scrolling right has like rewired people's brains. It's giving them less patience. It's giving them like, oh, you see something you don't like about a person on their profile, whatever, how stupid it is. It's just be like, I'll find somebody who has all of my characteristics, which isn't true. You're never going to find somebody who's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I haven't been on dating apps in a couple of years, so I don't know. But when I was on it, I always felt like, you know, I feel like dating and love in general is hard, you know? So even though someone may look the part and all that, the conversation isn't there. So it's not like you're swiping. It's like, yo, I got 10 amazing conversations going on and I could just flip through, you know? So I always thought, you know, it's just, I don't know if people think that they can keep scrolling and you're hitting jackpots every time. I don't think that was ever the case, you know?
Yeah, and from what I hear from the girlies that have told me about the dating apps, they be telling me they be matching with somebody and they never talk to them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, guys don't even talk to them. Like, why'd you swipe right if you had no intentions to have a conversation with them?
Probably just that satisfaction of like, yo, I got 20 people that like me, that want to talk to me.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know,
I think people do it. I think social media has now, it's like getting the like, right? Or getting the reposts. That feels more better than somebody actually engaging, leaving a comment on it and stuff like that. Like, oh, look at my like count, 10,000. I'd rather have 1,000 likes and 500 comments rather than 10,000 likes and no comments. It just looks weird.
No, I like the comments now. Now, to me, I feel like the interactions is the big thing.
That's what I just meant.
Yeah,
that's what I said. I'd rather have more comments
Yeah.
than less likes. Because likes is so, it's like a scroll. Like whatever, there's no effort behind that. But when you have a conversation, somebody comments on your stuff, then it feels like you're engaging with them. And that's really what human interaction is about. It's about engagement. And I just feel like people are disengaging more and more because they don't know how to engage, or the algorithm or scrolling has really push people towards not engaging, just doing the lazy thing, which is just keeping their minds mush, right? Which is messed up. It really is, right? And I had a question for you. So speaking on the dating app aspect and also the social media aspect, like, do you think that engineers at like these big social media platforms, they're trying to turn intimacy into content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And do you feel that they're hip to that and saying like, okay, so the more people we can keep inside and the more people we can give people the dopamine rush they would get otherwise from doing the real thing, but we can deliver to them on their bedroom, even though we're doing like we're making the world worse, this makes our company more profitable. Like, do you think that people are actually like, maybe not saying that out loud, but they're actually thinking that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's all profit. Especially big companies, the longer they could keep you on screen, the more profit it is, the more data that they're going to get from you. And, we've seen it from, the stats and YouTube and all that. We're incentivized to, if you put out content, how long are people actually watching your content, consuming it and all that? That's the stuff that's going to go viral. So,
yeah, I mean, like, what do they have that like screen through time or whatever, that metric on YouTube that says like how often somebody's like locked in and at what point do they get off your video?
Yeah.
Like for me, like people who are true masters of content creation know how to hook somebody and then like keep you. I be doing it myself. I just like sometimes I just skip to the end. I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch the whole thing. I just skip to the end just to be like, I know what you're doing, and I'm not gonna add on to this like stupid thing. Like I'm getting better at social listening.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I'm getting better at what the content is trying to do to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to counteract it, because what I don't want to be is like what you said, was like, oh, people regurgitating memes, people regurgitating Twitter or whatever they see on the internet. I want to be somebody who has my own thoughts when I see something, and either the content either reinforces or challenges my view, subject to it being credible. But I think that what's going on in society today is that it's becoming a lot of game theory and how to get the next generation, which are the children, which are the kids, the iPad kids, because those are really going to be the people in power 10, 15, 20 years from now, right? Like those are going to be the kids who grew up with an iPad literally in their hands from the time they came out the womb. Yeah. So they need to figure out, how do we keep that kid who was crying when the iPad taken away, how do we get them feeling that way when they're adults, anxious, depressed, when they don't have a phone in their hands, screen in their hands, and they're not like dealing with their depression, their anxiety, and their, like whatever else they may be dealing with a phone on their hand. right?
Yeah. I would say, I got a question for you. What's one social media habit that you regret, or that you're trying to get rid of?
Social media habit.
Yeah.
A social media habit. Oh man. When I like in the middle of my day, I'm usually pretty good about not doing social media in the morning. I usually go to my emails first, which is a bad habit, but I don't do social media first thing when I scroll over. It's like when I have idle time at work, like, or when I'm doing anything, I just go to like social media. It's like, because I'm like, oh, I've been working for 4 or 5 hours. Let me go and like shut my brain out. But what it does to me sometimes is that it creates more pressure, even with the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, shit. I'm like, oh my God, we got to post a reel tomorrow. Man, oh man, like, or watch hours, or man, like whatever. It creates more anxiety for me from a podcast perspective and being a podcaster now, rather than it being from like, I want to go there and like veg my head off. It's creating more work. I'm a stress ball, if you couldn't notice. So it's just creating more work in my head. And yeah, that's one thing I'm trying to, I guess, make social media when I do go on it to be a little bit more enjoyable experience for me, rather than it being one that creates like stress in my life.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. What about you?
For me, it's you know, I'm looking at social media. I mean, it is a platform. It is a way that you could generate, you know, what is it? You could generate, you know, second source of income and things like that. Yeah. So I guess for me, like a habit that I want to like get rid of is stop trying to make things so perfect.
Right. And
just be more myself, more authentic, and things like that.
I be telling you, some of the TikTok videos you make, the ones that are less perfect, those are the ones that I mean, there's always there's always like acceptable amount of curation, but when it becomes like too curated on any video, on any platform, any creator, I just think that people just don't relate to that anymore.
Yeah,
like the young kids don't relate to that anymore. They want the raw, they want the real, they don't want anything else that, you know, that reflects sort of like the unk stage or whatever it may be. Like, oh, everything needs to be picture perfect. There was a time and place for that, but that's no longer the case. And a question I had for you, what's one like offline experience that you wouldn't trade for the online, whatever the online version of that?
What's one offline?
Offline experience that you don't need, that you wouldn't trade in for any online experience.
I mean, having a conversation with the person I love. That's it, right? Right. Yeah, just having a conversation, just laughing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've been in situations where literally I've been at parties, family parties, where I talk to the person more on social media than I did at that party.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's weird, yeah.
That's wild, right? We be having back and forth at the party. Can't even make eye contact together. I mean, I'm good. I can make eye contact. I'm just saying, like, and there's multiple people here, so nobody can get offended about that. But I'm just like, damn, we were just having a conversation like literally 6 hours ago before this party, and we walked in, and like the only thing I got was like, hi, how's it going? Like, we were just debating about, you know, political ideologies and like things that were super deep, and now you can't even keep eye contact and have a fun conversation. Yeah. That to me is where I felt social media has taken over.
Yeah,
these YNs, man.
Yeah.
These YNs. Also,
I feel like it's everybody now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
I feel like it's everybody.
And also, man, like the advent of the internet and social media has made it easier to scam. Scammers just don't need to go outside and commit crimes anymore.
Yeah,
they can do it from the crib, right? Let's keep it a bean, right? Like it's true.
I mean, it's created a new business for scammers. This whole SEO, you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, look.
Yo, the amount of times I've been approached, hey, I see you want to grow your following.
Me too. Like, our platform.
Yeah.
If anybody, look, I'm not calling the industry as a whole a scam.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen one person yet who's been willing to use it on our platform. We'll invite somebody here. We'll invite somebody here, test your SEO algorithm on us, and then we can happily talk about it.
We'll have you on, we'll promote it and everything like that.
But until then, nah. We're not paying for those free trials and subscriptions, and you can't even get the name of our podcast right.
Yeah.
Misspelling Mike's name.
I feel like everyone's going to either make a video, and then there's ways you can get bots just to like it and all that. Yeah. So it's crazy.
They're like, I'll give you a free video. I'm like, I don't care about the bots, about the likes. I care about the comments.
Yeah.
And I don't want
And then who's actually
commenting.
Like,
I'm gonna look at it.
looking at the profiles, like these are all fake profiles. Like, come on.
Like user 44734 thing. I like your green shirt. You're wearing a blue shirt. It's wild, man. It's crazy. And what's one way that social media has made you feel less human?
One way. Let me see. That's a tough one. Has made me feel less human.
What's one way that has made you feel less human?
I mean, I would say, yeah, I will go back to, just being desensitized to certain things where I'm like, this is actually like horrible and all that. But in the same sense, it has made me like more human because there's this page that I started not even following, but I'll scroll. And I think I told you about it, but recently I came across it. And, being from New York City and living here, you don't see, like living here, I don't see, crackheads or meth heads on the streets and all that. And so, like, there's a page that this guy's just going around, like, just talking to these people and things like that. And then I'm seeing it and I'm like, wow, like, these people are like young adults, like 18, 21, 23-year-olds, like strung out on meth, on crack, on heroin. And it's like, people in the comments are laughing.
Yeah.
But I'm just
You
there
laughing
like
too.
just like, no, I'm not. I'm there like just, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, yo, they're kids. Like, what happened? Like, what's their story and all that, So,
I had to add on to what you just said. When I was at Portland, when I interviewed Aaron, I think Portland has sort of like has become a haven for people because I think they decriminalize personal use of drugs. So obviously there's that community of people who, sadly are addicted to drugs, and you see it. It's pretty plain in the streets of Portland. And it hit me where there was a young girl, bro. She couldn't have been more than 20 at all, bro. And I'm walking into the store, and the girl's asking people for ice cream. And there was a guy who bought it for her, and you can tell that they know each other. He's like, yo, man, like, you clean yourself up. Go right, bro. The girl had, like, if you looked at her eyes, she stared at me. It didn't have a soul behind it. There was nobody inside there. Like, and she had either rashes or she looked like she'd been abused. Like, it was a gruesome scene, bro. And, like, there's people talking about it as if it's nothing. And they were like, "Oh my God, it's one thing seeing them on the internet. It's another thing. It's like almost like it's another thing. They're just talking down on them like they're subhuman, right? Like people like don't have problems in their lives, and you don't know what they've been through. And it made me think, like, man, what did that person go through? Because on the internet, you see things like that, you feel detached from it. Kids getting murdered in the Bronx, shootings going up in the Bronx this summer, like it always does, and it makes you feel desensitized. Like, oh, that was somebody's son.
Yeah.
This is somebody's kid who's strung out on some hard drugs and are trying to find their way through life. And social media has really, really numbed me from the issues that are happening in society right now, man. And I think for me, to answer the question, one time where it has made me feel less human has been my own interaction with people sometimes, right? Like, it's sort of like created this, like, everything needs to be perfect. Everything needs to this. Everything needs to be curated like this in your life to get here and whatever it is. But you see it even from the people you look up to or whatever. You may be like somebody who you may like be like, well, whatever. And I'm just like, is their life really like that? I know they're talking a good game, but is their life really that curated, that perfect for you to do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and for me, what I've realized is that you're going to make mistakes along the way and not everybody's perfect. You should have a high standard for yourself in what you do. But it cannot be so unreasonably high that you're the only one who apparently fits into that circle. Yeah. Everybody's going to have their own mistakes. People have different ways of doing things. And I feel like the internet has really shown me an unrealistic expectation and standard of the types of people that I need to have in my life in order for me to get to the places that I need to get to. When in fact, I'm way ahead of schedule for where I want to be in my life right now. And I've done almost none of that bullshit that was, curated to me. So like, and also the internet has a weird way of like flex culture, man. Like there's people in my life that I've seen, and I'm like, damn, this person must be doing well. Chains, cars, whatever it may be, like all these bottles, and then you realize like, yo, I make like 6 times more than them. They must be in some crazy debt to be living this lifestyle, all for the gram, all for social media. Because if it's not on social media, then you don't actually do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like for me, there's trips that people bring up to me that I forgot I've been gone to because I've not posted them on social media. And like dead ass. Like I'd be like, oh, I went to that place. Yeah, I forgot. But it's like sort of like if it's not on social media, you never did it.
Yeah.
And we need to get away from that. We need to get back to the stories of like, oh, can I tell you something interesting? I went to Aruba. And then people are like, you didn't post that on Instagram. Like that's the conversation now. You didn't post that on Instagram. Or if you don't post pictures of you and your family during Thanksgiving or Christmas, people assume you were by yourself.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild, bro. Like, hold on. I couldn't have just been enjoying the moment. Happens to be last Christmas. I don't post on my feed when I'm on Christmas time or on Thanksgiving time.
Yeah,
when
you're
I'm
just in it.
I'm in it. I'm having fun. I'm in my pajamas. Other people do it. So if you go to their page, I'll be in it. But like sometimes I want to be around my family because you don't know when any of them are gonna go. Like, you just don't know, bro. Like, so I don't want to live like in terms of like, damn, I had this relationship with this person. I could have really taken it outside the group chat and actually had something with them. Yeah, man. So I mean, look. Just sort of social media is powerful, right? But it can't give you the meaning that you're looking for. You have to actually go outside of the life, like into real life and actually get that fulfillment, get that purpose. Social media could be like a supplement to emphasizing and sort of fulfilling what you're doing as a person in reality. It could be used as a tool, a really powerful one, because that's how people communicate. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Somebody somewhere is on one of these platforms. LinkedIn, even. We have LinkedIn influencers now, which is now destroyed the whole damn profile. But when I want to leave with people on this episode is sort of like, go outside, smell the damn trees, like go do a hobby that involved other people. Pilates, Barry's, like some sort of small togetherness with people, you know what I mean? Like even in a HIIT class nowadays, bro, like people like in New York is different because I think New York has a culture of rah-rah, but in other places people don't really be talking like that. Yeah. Like, yo, good job. Like just like, yo, good run, man. You pushed me there, brother. Like it's just sort of like go in, go out, and leave. It's the purpose of these classes at first is to bring a community together. That was the whole point. And now it's just been like it's like now serves individuals doing one thing at the same time. Yeah. And I think we need to revert back to a place where we build community collaboration so that's what breeds creativity, progress, and growth. So, yo, go outside, smell the trees. It's a beautiful world out there. You're going to find beautiful people like me and Mike, Last Fly Out podcast. You know? So, like, it's just like one of those things that I think that people really need to do. So, I mean, I think this conversation is important. It's an ongoing one. This is just like the first of many that will be related to this, but I just feel like it was an important conversation to have. Yeah, definitely. And if you're going to doom scroll, do it on Last Flight Out podcast. And with that, Mike, why you don't tell them where they can find us, man? At Last Flight Out podcast. But seriously, let's just all have a balance with this, you know? Yeah. So, and we're victims of it as well, but I think it's nice to have a healthy, genuine balance of being in person, being present in the moment. And then, you know, if you want to start a business or something like that, the place is going to be on the internet. So, yeah. Yeah, man. That was a good one, man. So, Mike, why you don't tell them where they can find us and sign off, man? Yeah, you can find us everywhere: Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, at Last Flight Out, and you can find me at Instagram. And if Mike was here, you can find Jay at JLubrio26 across all socials. Thanks again for tuning in. See everybody next time, same place next week. Peace. My life too pristine. Man, you didn't have to do them like that, man. You didn't have to do them like that. It was film day. Yeah. We gotta make a statement. Exactly. We gotta make a statement. What's going on, man?